All right, welcome back, Admin Mastermind and Teach Better Family. So good to see everyone this morning as Jeff and I just finished and completed our Thanksgiving Admin Mastermind.
Was it
Jeff,
officially the Thanksgiving Mastermind? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I'm very thankful
It
that
did
I got to
feel
spend time with
Thanksgiving
you.
because we did some thankfulness. There was lots of talk of pie,
A lot
so
of
it was
talk about.
very Thanksgiving-y. Yeah, so I think we're good with that. I think we can roll with that.
Well, we started off the session saying about things that we're thankful for and getting us in
That's
that
true.
mindset. We had people
Yep.
traveling. There were some on vacation in other countries that joined us today.
Yes.
We
Yep.
had
Which is
folks that
awesome.
were at home preparing for their break, and then we had others still in session as schools in some
And we
places
had
are.
one whose school was not in session, but who had snuck back in for peace and quiet time. So
Yes, these I love the holiday sessions that we have just because we get to see people in different places, but then also we get folks that are dear friends that we haven't seen in a while because it's been so busy and crazy in the campus that they actually
and they're
come and
able to
join
come
us
in and stuff.
and
Yeah,
they're able to
it's a
join
lot of
us. So
fun. Yeah, it's very
all right,
cool.
so for those who are joining us for the first time, we meet every Tuesday morning, unless it's a holiday itself. So occasionally we do take a break, but most Tuesdays every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time, and you can sign up over at teachbetter.com/mastermind, and it's a free sign up, and you get this wonderful community both here as we join virtually, but then also we have a Facebook group, which I'll throw that link up later. But you'll get a link for that community also. Jeff, I think we're going to start with our topic. Obviously, we started with the Thanksgiving and telling everyone what we
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
appreciative of, but it quickly went into us collaborating as usual, just kind of opening up to the group. And we had one administrator that was building a mentor-mentee program and just kind of seeking some advice from the group because this was a new program. They hadn't had this on the campus before, and as we know, it's hard to go from ground zero, from scratch, and to try and build something up where it was a adult to student program for the mentor mentee.
Mhm.
So will you just share out kind of the things that were brought up for this specific program?
Yeah, so this was a specific program that they're working with their local police department, and police
Mhm.
officers are volunteering to be mentors to students. And essentially, it was that the officers are super excited and really excited to be involved and have that connection and hopefully do some good. And but they were asking this leader for a protocol for questions and things of that nature. And so the group kind of came together around the idea of obviously there, if you Google this, you'll find a billion different ideas and stuff like that. But we talked about a few different things. One was staying away from yes no questions, so making sure that the questions that are being asked to the mentees are open ended, so that the students are more likely to share more, tell stories, things of that nature. We did talk about ensuring that the officers were aware of subjects that they maybe should not talk about, or and just the rules and regulations around sharing information and things of that nature. That's an important piece of this program. We also talked about really just being intentional about the students that are being selected for the program, which they shared that that's what they were thinking of. They were looking at students who either they were very well aware of or had an indication that the student might be dealing with things and maybe didn't have the support network at home or in a friend circle or through whatever it might be. And then, so I think one of the common things that several people that have done something similar shared was a great way to start something like this off is some sort of mixer, just sort of social event where the soon to be mentors and mentees are there, and you can kind of see if any of the, well, I guess mentees or mentors like gravitate towards each other in just casual conversation, because then that helps you with the pairing up and things of that nature. So also breaks the ice for a lot of them, so that then the relationships are more likely to have it. One of the leaders in our group mentioned that they had a program like this, and what they did was every morning or every meeting they had at the beginning was sort of a little bit of a social time where they had muffins, and they called it muffins with mentors, and some drinks and stuff like that, so that everyone kind of get in and relaxed, and then they would break off into their mentor mentee relationships and stuff. So I think it came to that, and then another conversation connected to that was understanding what the purpose of your program is, and making sure that you have clear with the folks that are running it what the goals are, what the measures are that you can actually look at, the metrics, and that the mentors are aware of that. and that there's clear communication with them about what's expected of them. And I think that was the big piece of that. So good conversation around that. I'm excited to
Great.
hear how that program goes. They're launching it in a couple of weeks here. So
Mhm. Yeah. On our campus, we built something with our PTA, something similar, where it was adult to child. And I think the most important thing was, like you said, the communication to those mentors, and then also just the training that goes along with that. Because a lot of them, if it's a police officer that has a kid, maybe the kid is not the same age as who they're
mhm,
mentoring. It could be something where they don't have any experience with adolescents or children outside of what they have on the role. So it's a lot of like keen in on as far as like, and I think someone brought this up too, is like assumptions, right? You can't assume
mhm,
that kids have they were saying like celebrating certain holidays, certain beliefs, like you do kind of have to tiptoe around some of those things. And a lot of times we can't assume that those mentors have that experience and know how to relate to that age group. So
yeah,
coming in and making sure that you have training for them so they come in ready to go from day one.
yep. Yeah, so that was a great conversation. Second part
Mhm.
of the conversation was also related to communication. If I believe if that's where you were going to go, is that where you were going with
Yeah,
this one?
totally. Yeah, we were talking about communication to staff. One administrator had a lot of new teachers, a lot of things going on at the campus level. And so they wanted to have kind of like a one stop shop. And so they didn't
Hmm.
know where to go with that. They were thinking maybe like a Google website to create. And then we just got like a ton of different
Yeah.
examples. People were sharing screens, people were sharing links. And I think there was one specific example, Jeff, that I'm thinking of that multiple people had, which was kind of like a dashboard setup. So do you want to share
Yeah.
out what that looked like?
Yeah, so they essentially used the 2 that we looked at that I thought were really well designed. The one was just really well done.
Yeah.
Were built on just a Google Sheet. They just used a single
Hmm.
tab in a Google Sheet, and they actually, embedded images for, like, headers of this different sections. So you had, like, safety and security, parent communication, schedules, student info, curriculum, all that type of stuff, and then just the cells below that were all just the links to anything that a teacher could need. So this was open up either to a PDF or maybe a Google Doc or triggering a copy of the Google Doc or open to something on the website, whatever it might be. But it created this dashboard where, as a staff member, I can come there and literally any question that I might have, I should be able to find right there. And so that becomes the first place I go versus the first step I take being to ask someone, hey, where do I find? Or hey, can you get me? Or hey, I don't know where. Now I have this dashboard where I can go to and I find it. We had someone that also shared that they built it on like a website, which is really the same thing. If you think about it, it's the same basic thing. It's just a link that they're going to bookmark somewhere, and that's where they go. And it was, I think the one of the key pieces that we talked about in there is that the platform and the way in which you build it is not actually the most important part. The most important part is the training and the understanding that you give to your staff about, hey, this is where this is going to be. This is where you go. If you can't find it there, then you call me. And I think that and having that be continuously updated and added to if needed will take from an administrator standpoint, from a leader standpoint, the number of questions that you are no longer going to get that don't require you is incredible because they're going to have this place to go. They're not going to have to bother you. They're not going to take the time to find you or to email you or to call you or whatever. They're going to know where to go. But yeah, it was crazy. I think how simplified it was, which I think is what I like most about it, is that it doesn't have to be crazy and complicated. It could just be simplified. And a single sheet or a single web page is a whole lot simpler than we'll go to this folder and search all the documents, in a Google folder. Somebody, if they don't want to click through and stuff. So yeah, that was a big piece there of that. I thought that was really cool. I loved how quickly everyone was sharing. That was really cool. So
Yeah, someone had talked about like Google Drives, and as we know, that can be very cluttered and not a very good user
mhm.
experience. So the more simple it is, more likely staff's going to continue to use it. But then, like you said, you got to be consistent as a leader to make sure that you're consistently updating it,
Yeah,
because if you don't, then people realize, well, this isn't a place for me to get the information that I need, and then they stop going there. So I know, like, if you're using S'more or a Google website or whatever it may be as far as the platform, if you're not putting information in there and consistently communicating to folks that this is where you need to go, then that's going to fall off, and then you have to
yeah.
essentially rebuild that pattern of behavior for your staff, which is extremely hard. Like once you got it going, you got to make sure that you're consistent with updating
Yeah.
that and communicating out that this is where you need to go for everything as
Agreed.
far as the campus goes.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Last thing that we talked about, which was a fun thing that kind
Oh
of
yeah.
was overarching with the holiday season, which was the Underground Spirit Week. I had never heard of this, but it was a super fun idea. So for those who are looking for maybe the holiday season coming up in December, do you want to explain what the Underground Spirit Week was
Yeah,
all
so
about?
honestly, go Google Underground Spirit Week, or find it on. I mean, if you go on Instagram, you'll be able to find it too. Essentially, what this is a Spirit Week for the staff members that they do not tell the students about. So some of the examples we got is like on Monday, it was like Ninja Day, so they all wore black and they did like they snuck around and things of that nature. There was one that was a flannel day, so they all wore flannel. The one that I love that she eventually said that they did. I saw it when I was googling it while they were talking, which is anything but a cup day, which is where you're allowed to drink out of anything but a cup. So people are like wearing with like boots or like flower pots and stuff like that. So essentially, what it is, it's a fun thing for the staff to do. That's fun both in the sense that they get to have some fun with their creativity and dressing or whatever it might be, but also the fun of when will the students figure it out? Are they going to figure out that we're all doing this together? Which, in the person who was sharing this, it was Wednesday before the students realized that they were all dressed in the same, and they said they think on the day that they all wore black, they had basically 100% participation amongst the staff. So
Yeah.
it's a really cool way. It can happen. It doesn't have to be during the holidays. It can literally happen anytime. But it's a really cool sort of. And they actually talked about like by the end of the day, the students figured out what Friday was and joined them. Which, in the face of it, you're like, oh, they figured it out. It's like no, but then they wanted to join it, which is awesome, right? So now you have there's this connection of like, oh, we caught you. You were doing this all week, which was fun, and now I get it as a student, but also I want to be a part of it. So it's just basically, yeah, you pick that week, you communicate with your staff. It's quiet. It's kind of fun because you kind of sneak it through the students, and then you do. And it could be school colors. It could be wearing jerseys. The one was dressed like a student. Whatever you could think of. Have some fun. It's a great way to have some fun with your staff, and then also it's entertaining for the students and the parents when they figure it out as well. So that was super cool.
Yeah. Sound like
Lots of really
a
great examples and videos and
positive,
stuff on social media.
yeah, positive culture piece there. And
Yes.
like you said, the kids had a really good time as far as figuring out, and then like you
Yeah.
said, they want to join in, and that's
Yeah.
what it's all about. So great community builder there. So definitely check that out. Maybe implement it on your campus, and then you can communicate it on your new platform dashboard that you've created in Google Sheets.
Exactly. I love it.
All right. Well, just a reminder, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time is when we join to collaborate. You can go over to teachbetter.com/mastermind. When you sign up, which is a free sign up, you'll also get a Facebook group link. And that is because it's great to have these conversations on Tuesday, but we want to make sure that you have continued support throughout the week. So you can drop anything that you would like as far as resources, or maybe you want to throw a question or problem that you have to the group. I know a lot of people do that so that they can get some more suggestions. So similar to what we do in the session is happening in Facebook, and we absolutely love that growing community. Jeff, as always, I appreciate you and the conversation, and happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.